Achi was in his own brain, and the bug crawled through the wall in the brain.
Yeah. Oh,
got it.
It's well, yeah, it's well, just don't think about it. It makes
more sense not to think about it.
Yeah, it makes you go dizzy if you think about it too much.
It's how dreams work.
What, you don't like parasites, worms crawling in you? There's a lot of cool ones.
So let's go ahead and get things started off here. Morning Frost. As you enter somewhat of a I don't want to say familiar landscape. It's a landscape that while you don't recognize it, you know very well who it belongs to. As you breach the massive hole in the bastion, you see the scorpion, spider, hornet thing, somewhat on fire, attempting to flee. Down below, you see two figures. Both of them, you know. One, your loyal huntsman. The first one that greeted you on your ascension to True Fae. The iron stag helmet, clearly visible. The other individual, a somewhat more battle-worn and tired Jimmy.
So as she ascends, obviously it starts getting colder and colder. I want to... The beetle? Is it a beetle? Scorpion? What is it?
It's an amalgamation of a scorpion, spider, and hornet thing.
Insect. Got it.
Fair.
I want to get it cold enough for it to start slowing down, but not to stop. And then start creating thin needles of ice, and then just slowly stabbing it again and again in different parts of it.
Jimmy, you watch as this parasite gets turned essentially into a voodoo doll with pins going through it, made of ice. As two pins pierce its wings, it begins to lose its ability to fly and plummets to the ground.
She walks.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh.
Oh.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I'm just... No, I'll pass it over. Jimmy's probably not focused on the bug at the moment.
So I walk towards it and shake my head. No. Not the right body, not the right mind to be in. And she decides to clip the wings off. And she kind of kicks it, trying to make it move. Basically, she's trying to make it into a game of a little bit of a chase.
This thing was already set on fire, now has icy needles rammed into it. It's the only movement it's doing is the standard bug on its back, legs kicking frantically into the air and slowly curling up underneath itself.
At this point, she scoffs, boring, and decides to just completely freezes it from inside out, and you can tell that it's just completely frozen solid. Not like an ice cube, you can tell that it itself is just frozen solid. And then she turns around and just stares at Jimmy, and then glances over at the huntsman.
Looking at the huntsman, he kneels.
Did you allow this to happen? And she looks at Jimmy, who's seen better days.
Who are you asking?
I'm asking the huntsman.
I ate it as soon as this thing invaded. Looks over at Jimmy to see if Jimmy's going to corroborate the story.
True, but never expected help from.
Your aid was clearly not well enough, not to my standards, but I'll take care of that later. You may go.
He stands, placing the spear upon his back, and with essentially a leap, he's already gone from the dream.
Do I have any sort of healing abilities? I mean, the most that I could probably do is numb him.
Numb
Yeah.
the pain.
I do not believe any of those contracts actually. I believe the only healing contract is spraying. So I would. I don't think you do.
Yeah, it's probably just numbing effects. In dreams, does my frost affect him? Because I know that
It would.
outside of the hedge, obviously the closer I get to him, he feels the cold. But in a dream, is it the same thing?
If you would want it to, you would have to do a contest of wills, because quite frankly, changelings are the master of their own dreams. So that would be his decision to make in his dream.
Okay. Well, we'll see what he decides. So, Mourning slowly makes her way towards Jimmy, obviously walking slowly just to see how the frost reacts to his, presence.
Six years.
It feels longer.
If it was different.
It could have been
Simpler
very
times.
different. It could have been very, very different.
Oh, I know. It was simpler times.
And yet you made a very difficult decision, and you chose a much more difficult path. If you would have just gone with me, I don't think you would have been in this position.
Yeah, there isn't a day that goes by when I don't think that myself.
What is happening? Why are you in this position? The last time I left, the last time I saw you, you weren't in this state.
No one was. It's always that human nature. No one acts until it's too late. So here we are, just trying to put the pieces back together.
I don't think I remember what it was like to be human these days. No matter. The insect is well taken care of. As I've stated previously, what seems eons ago, I am here, and the offer will always stand. And
I can't say I'm not tempted.
she kneels forward, kind of just inching closer.
I can't say this is not a lot of temptation there. I don't know how much is left for me in the world.
I think you are too good for this world. I don't think that world will ever appreciate everything that you are, can be, will be. It wasn't out of mere selfishness that I wanted you to come. I don't think that world was made for us. We were not made for that world. We are too good for it. You are too good for it. And by the looks of it, it's getting what I think it deserves.
On that note, gonna move over to Kalmir. We left off with you in the helicopter, did we not?
I believe so, yes.
As you look about the helicopter, you notice a few things. You notice one, Jimmy is not aboard. 2, you notice the wolves are. Well, the one in the wheelchair, Cedric, and the others that were referred to as Forsaken. George is not there, nor is seemingly the one that they had called Vanessa. There is also 3 other individuals. Roll me perception.
Alright. Wits composure, here we go. No successes. Nothing to see in this cramped helicopter.
The 3 other individuals you don't recognize, they just seem like regular people for the best part of your guess. Faces in the crowd, as it were.
Okay. Well, he may not recognize who they are, would he recognize what they are by the color of their soul? Well, not the specific color, but
No, I know exactly. I know exactly what you're meaning, but I'm coming up with 404 error page not found. 'Cause I don't think the book talks. I don't even think it mentions them. But let me confirm. Where's Tremere? Because I know it's a little sidebar.
yes. So it has an ability that mimics the Soul Marks spell, which is Death 1. It's on page 128 if you want to see the spell. Or I can read it.
Read it, please.
So the mage can determine the health of a person's soul. They can determine one soul mark per potency of the spell cast. They can discern the presence of persistent conditions. If the subject is awakened, if the subject is a supernatural being, if the subject has created a soul stone, if they've had their soul tampered with, if they're possessed, presence of any attainments, if they've eaten or consumed another soul, or if they're suffering from the paradox condition.
So, I think the best way to phrase it is they don't have souls.
That's probably the best way.
And it also states about supernatural beings. They themselves are not supernatural. But you sense the supernatural coming from them.
Interesting. That might be worth looking into at some point if there will ever be downtime again. At the end of this, getting rid of the contagion. If we survive, then yeah, he's going to be looking into whatever those are, because they don't have souls, and they appear normal, but at the same time not normal.
Leon? The absence of Jimmy is also not lost on you. You also have certain whispers in the back of your head. You very well know the werewolves are on a board as well. Despite them not being particularly werewolfy looking.
What are the whispers saying today?
Oh,
Just
alerting you.
Incoherent. Okay. Alerting me that there are werewolves here. Well, he doesn't particularly fear them being here. Jimmy not being here, I mean, he was here when they landed. But he also is pretty adept at wiggling out of situations, given his changeling nature. While Leon doesn't really trust him to, find his way through the hedge on his own, all the way to wherever we're landing. Too late to turn back for him now, so.
Why don't you give us a quick description of Leon these days?
So, Leon, for the vast majority of people sitting on this helicopter, looks fairly normal. Maybe mid-30s, late, roughly their middle age. Short, blonde hair, kind of neatly trimmed back. I doubt he's sitting in any combat gear right now, just because it's not comfortable to sit in. So he's probably dressed in just very casual, whatever clothes still don't have holes in them at this point in the end of the world. if there are any Fae on board, they wouldn't see skin or a body. He's very transparent. Very much doesn't appear always there. Glowing kind of goldish yellow.
Go ahead, just call it incandescent.
Oh,
Grossly incandescent.
we didn't get there yet. But he very much looks like a ghost sitting there. Very faint. He's not actively channeling anything. Faint not trickles, flickers of like fire and lightning kind of arc across his body, but he is calm and not incredibly on fire at the current moment in time.
Well, anything from the two of you that you would like to do at this current time?
Where are we flying to? You know, where I'll pose that question to whoever's running the show here. You know, where are we setting down next?
Melina kind of looks up from checking her rifle. Refueling stop. Refueling stop. Then we're heading to Brazil. Supposedly an ancient structure of some sort. Looks over at Kalmir and then ancient structure of some sort of nature appeared there, and before comms went dark, something about a dragon.
Well, I hope we brought enough bullets. Maybe some larger ones. I don't think that rifle's putting down a dragon.
If push comes to shove, she just gives Kalmir this kind of death look. This one will just go find a nuke and drop it on Rio de Janeiro.
I mean, the future will say the ends justify the means.
Is there going to be a future to say that?
That's what we're working on. A few sacrifices here and there for the greater good.
God, that just reminds me of that one movie, For the Greater Good. You hear the absolute mocking tone come off of her voice.
All right. Well, then we have a hell of a long way to fly.
Stated, we're not going to make it on this fuel tank, so we're going to have to find some sort of refueling station that we can jerry-rig to work. Anybody here got any skills of that nature? Looks over at Kalmir.
Yes.
Or are you just going to do it your way?
Like, if you find me a tank of gas and some equipment, we can get this thing refueled, but I don't know how much gas is good these days. I don't know how long helicopter fuel keeps.
We could ask Edmund.
Yeah. We can try and find some if you like. Kind of the long way around. I could make it so the helicopter doesn't run out of fuel, if you wish.
It'll save us a few hours. It won't shorten the flight by any stretch, but it will save a few hours of downtime.
A few hours we could use to stretch her legs, but
We are kind of sardines in here.
That's why I gave you the choice.
Hate relying on this type of stuff, but logically, it would be foolish not to.
Indeed. Glad you see it my way.
Okay, what spell have you already concocted as soon as I mention this?
Logically, why couldn't we just teleport the helicopter there?
I do feel like there would be some very big issues doing.
Teleport 12 different supernatural things at once. See what happens.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
exactly.
do it. Do it. I
Exactly.
want to see it.
Yeah, I feel like that would be bad.
No, he could do it fairly easily.
No. No, you couldn't.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I don't know. No. You gotta remember, Igor's on this plane. You've got
Am I?
Is he?
Igor.
Is he?
Yes, Igor would be on this
Yeah,
helicopter.
I didn't know if he was here or he was just going to comically like step out of an abyss portal as soon as we were about to go in the underworld or something.
That's what I was thinking. I thought he was like hanging out in the ocean of fragments.
And then there's at least one individual that everybody knows as the Contagion, which has been known to fight back. There's several individuals that are made from Contagion.
So it would be a matter spell, matter 4, to ensure that something never runs out of expendable items like bullets or gas or money.
Okay. Well,
How big is this helicopter? Yeah.
This
It's
is
like a Chinook, so it's pretty big.
my very first search result was Chinook helicopter for sale, and I'm like, wait, hold up. We are looking at of course. No, I don't want to buy one. We're looking at roughly 98 feet. 99 feet.
Okay.
Long.
Is there a space out of eyesight of sleepers?
I mean, I guess you could like crawl under some crates or something, but I feel like the sleepers already know what's going to happen, so this is paradox.
I feel like there's only one sleeper on this entire plane as well. And her name is Melina.
Yes. Well,
The sleeper knows magic is happening. Even if they know it's happening, they know it can't be possible, so it's still paradox.
if I would I be able to determine if she would cause paradox by looking at her soul? If she has like a supernatural?
She's a human soul.
No, I meant.
I think she's also like vocally been displeased about all the different monsters she's around and hates working with them. So you could probably put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
fine with them.
Because it's possible for a human to have a supernatural tolerance. That's what I'm saying.
She does not.
She does
I
not.
can build
Okay.
a tolerance. I can build a tolerance, okay?
You're just gonna
Well,
have to deal.
I-
Also, what are the rules for paradox? Because Igor's aboard.
Unless he's specifically screwing with them, I
Nothing.
think it'll probably go off unplanned. I mean,
Okay.
he could try to control it, but I don't have the book open, and he's not going to right now because
Okay.
why would he?
Okay.
Let him be his mage.
Yes, that's fine. All right. Well, I will begin casting this spell as you wish, but you will have to remain in the cockpit until I'm finished. Your kind tends to skew the results.
rolls her eyes, and you tend to skew all different types of results. You literally blew. You know what? I'm gonna harp on about that nuke later. She turns and leaves and goes and begins to speak with Edmund in the cockpit.
All right. So there's no reason to make it instant. So he'll take 6 minutes. Potency doesn't matter. Duration. We'll do a month because that's minus 0 dice. Yeah, so that'll do. Yantra, I'm going to use the dedicated tool.
No, you're not.
Well, he's going to try to use the dedicated tool. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. I was just saying in case you had forgotten. No, you're not.
I did not.
Okay.
I have not forgotten. I speech. Yeah, that'll do. So dice pool of 21. So we'll just roll. Simple roll. 21. 8 successes.
As you reach and attempt to use your yantra, you find it unresponsive. As if it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
The spell still seems to go off correctly. You don't feel that there's anything wrong. The only thing that is wrong is the fact that your yantra felt like it didn't exist.
That's an immediate problem. So he's going to use the remaining time in a helicopter to scrutiny this. Find the cause, possibly the solution.
While you do that, we're going to move back. Jimmy's dreamscape.
I'm perfectly fine staying here with you. But I'm assuming you're in a bit of trouble?
Oh, you could call it that. The world's overrun. More or less abandoned. From what my little friends tell me, so is Arcadia.
It
So
has
for all intents and
better
purposes,
days.
I could say that you too are in a little bit of trouble.
I'd like to think I cause trouble. I don't get into trouble. There have been signs of things not being like they used to be. I figured as much when I first left, and I told you that things were just gonna get worse. However, we didn't think it would bleed over. Many still don't even believe that it's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
know.
could give you the example of another load of people who thought.
What you broke off at the
You
end.
broke off.
No, I'll give you a citing example of others that thought like that as well. So how about it? One last time around. Maybe this time I think about the offer.
we'll team up. And you'll have to at least make an attempt to perhaps visit me more often.
I don't go beyond
Not
the
a-
thorns.
Not a permanent residence.
I'll go beyond the thorns. I don't think I've got much say in that.
Excellent. So then, why don't we get out of here?
I've got the easy way out.
So we exit the dream.
You go separately. It's
Jimmy, where do you wake up? Where exactly did you go? I forget.
I was in the hollow.
Hawkins. Physically in the hollow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the helicopter does have doors, so this is possible.
It's like just out of the out of the cockpit door. So it's going to open and Jimmy's going to walk out and shut it behind him.
Yeah. Melina goes in, Jimmy comes out. Essentially.
So what?
Leon and Kalmir, give me a perception check.
Two successes.
Kalmir's successes aren't really that important.
Ooh.
You add your weird.
Yeah, there's a real fun merit that lets you add your weird whole perception rolls.
Nice.
It's a 1 dot merit.
So,
It's really good.
Kalmir, outside of Jimmy, obviously, having Jimmy come into the room kind of brings you back into looking at the people in the room. And as your eyes flick across the room, there's an additional person in the room. Well, in the helicopter. Let me just phrase it like that. Leon, as you notice the similar situation of Jimmy coming through the cockpit, you also see Sonia standing in the helicopter now.
Well, I'm probably, sitting, just kind of relaxing, trying to focus on the fact we don't have a 14-hour flight ahead of us. Immediately leading forward, gonna try to grab where my weapon is laying there. Just no, this shit is not happening now.
Oh, Leon, come now.
Leon.
Is that how you greet an old friend?
Leon shall turn the bullets into snowflakes before you can pull the trigger, you know it.
And if there weren't a whole lot of innocent people around here, I would be pulling this trigger already.
Innocent. Oh, is that what you call it?
Kalmir, all kinds of messed up. This was once a human soul. While you've seen Jimmy's soul, and you've seen Leon's soul, you've seen everybody's soul. You've had certain experiences with changeling souls. This is as if a changeling has run rampant. So much to the point where you know you can't touch it.
Mm.
You see the similarities between them, though.
Uh-huh.
But it is wholly out of your reach.
Do we know each other?
I am ignoring Kalmir.
No, that wasn't an incorrect question. That was a question to the player.
I know I sent, or Morning Frost sent, Larkspur,
Yeah.
or whatever his name is, to you, but I don't think you guys actually know each other personally. It's more like in passing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't really recognize you.
No,
No.
no. It's more like I know you from afar, but even I don't know you. It's like
Right.
I've seen your work. I'm a huge fan of it.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. So given that information, Kalmir is immediately on guard, but not outwardly aggressive. He's probably thrown up a shield.
Leon, I've made the deal.
I held my peace once. I never said I was going to do it again.
Oh, Leon. Always so dramatic. Some things never change, do they?
You know,
I'm here to help. You help me, I help you. You know the deal.
you can help me by crawling back to whatever ditch you call a home and waiting for me to come kill you later. We'll get there. We have bigger problems to deal with right now. But I'll get there, and every other one of you little rats in Arcadia.
She kind of poofs in snow a little bit to kind of show that irritated her. Well, as far as I know, you're not in a position to be picky in who helps. Your world is in trouble. Mine is slightly in trouble. I think we can both agree to put this pettiness aside. I haven't actually done anything to you as of yet. So there's no reason for you to act this way towards me. As I recall, we once helped each other.
I don't think you really comprehend reason anymore, I'll be honest. Because there's plenty.
Well, if you don't want my help.
Leon will sit back down, but he will now be holding his shotgun for the rest of this flight. And will be specifically loading it with whatever like iron slugs he has sitting around on his person right now.
Unloading it just so you can load it again.
Checking them all, make sure they're all good.
So, is there a plan? Is there a destination we're heading to?
Current plan was heading to Brazil to take care of the monolith that arrived. But that plan might change. I guess he'll
If it is changing, we better change it quickly, because I don't really want to sit here for half a day, only to fly back somewhere else for another day. We don't have that kind of time to burn. That's not our call to make, is it? Group effort.
You hear Edmund's
Also, we're
voice.
not the one flying the helicopter.
You hear Edmund's voice come over the loudspeaker. Are you done doing whatever you need to do in there so I can send this crazy woman back out there so I can fly in peace?
Is there an intercom on this side, or does someone got to knock on the door?
I would assume you probably have you're in a helicopter, so you probably
Okay.
have the big earbuds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm all finished. You can send her back, I guess. We'll deal with her.
Cockpit door opens again. She steps back out, just kind of shaking her head. Gives a very pointed look at Leon. Why is your shotgun unharnessed?
Well, we have a demon on the chopper. And I know, we do. And I'm gonna glance, over my shoulder. Not you. No, we have a real monster on this helicopter now. While everyone else here can at least claim to be human anymore.
I think quickly after he said that, she's gonna put on her human form, or a human form.
Well, anybody outside of the two changelings would immediately see just what Sonya looked like when she was human.
Okay.
While Jimmy and Leon would see Sonya, but it's more of a superimposed image. They would be able to see the Frost Maiden underneath as well. Just as you see their masks superimposed over the thrumming music that is Jimmy and the incandescent nature of Leon.
Oh, but apparently they're not monsters.
No thanks to some kind of people. I'm gonna be pointing.
No, we can be civil. Put that thing down. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Oh, I wish. Something cycle of abuse. Maybe if we put you down, it'll stop.
I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. Can I have your name?
Looking at me, I assume.
Is that correct? You're looking at Kalmir?
Yeah.
Okay. Kalmir's been
Don't.
watching this conversation.
Go
He's
ahead,
been
roll
paying
it. Roll intelligence plus occult. I will allow this. Catch on real quick here. If you fail this, though,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know to really try to figure this out either, so I'm not going to say you get willpower here.
One success.
Putting a few pieces. You're somewhat aware of changelings and their escape from True Fae. Reasonable suspicion
Okay.
that you're dealing with one of the fair folk. Also, given the soul in question.
That's probably a good deduction.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. We have not
Welcome.
made an acquaintance yet. You may refer to me as Thorn.
Thorn. Okay. But that is not your name. I may not be from here anymore, but I do recall exchanging names. However, I do have manners. I will call you Thorn for now.
It's not technically a lie. Kalmir's had many names over the years.
He gave you one he doesn't plan on using anymore.
I'm sure he was on someone's side. He was a thorn on someone's side. It's okay.
And who might you be?
There's another question.
A friend, a foe, a lover. All
A
wrapped in
girlfriend. Whose? Or
A
is that too
story to be
personal?
told- A story to be told at a later time.
What do you think she walked through the door with, buddy?
She didn't.
Yeah, she just appeared. Legitimately just appeared.
Aren't you always yammering on about symbolism?
Oh my. Jimmy, this is the group of individuals that you have entrusted your life and well-being to?
Yeah, and I'm questioning my decisions more than you are right now at this moment.
You're more than welcome to go kill yourself in Arcadia for all I care.
Ooh. So grim, so dark. Are you sure you're still human? It's a monstrous thing to say, wouldn't you think?
There's only so many times you can try and get someone to do the right thing before you have to acknowledge they can make their own bad decisions. And if he wants to be a slave, he wants to run right into chains, so be it. I can't stop him anymore. The human thing would be to mercy kill him as soon as he tries, but I won't.
Because you're
Believe it or
such
not, I've
a
been
good
making bad decisions my entire life. Don't make a change now.
And on that note, we're going to go to break.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of the Contagion Chronicle, The World Plague, the conclusion to the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, what is this plague that invades both body and mind?